Good afternoon and happy 32nd day of our Corona confinement. I can't remember the days anymore. Somewhere in the 30s. I think it was just 30 the other day. It's one way to stay in touch with at least what day of the week it is, because I can get up in the morning and go, let's see, what day of the week is it? And I know it's a good thing. It's because I'm paying attention every day to what we're doing. I think sometimes we just don't pay attention at all. But today we are going to be talking about overcoming our fear with faith. Now first of all, I'm wearing a wintry sweatshirt today because it is wintry out. So, and I have to, hey Carlotta, good to see you with me today. So I've got a winter sweatshirt on because I'm working over in the campground office. And my sister and I are socially distancing. She's downstairs, I'm upstairs, and we're washing the floors and we're getting ready for whenever camping season is allowed to start. So see, we're exercising our faith that camping season is coming. And, amidst the fears that, how long will it be? Will we have a camping season? We're waiting for the curve to go down. How long is it going to take? Well, you got your choice. You can spend your day in fear, or you can spend your day in faith. Now, on that note, I don't want to make it seem like fear is a bad thing, because fear is a wonderful survival instinct. It's one of the things that keeps us from making some pretty not wise mistakes. And even with, sometimes with fear, we still kind of make stupid mistakes. But we're still spiritual beings having a human experience. So we just are going to plod on through, right? So when I'm saying fear, overcoming our fear with faith, that is when that is a good time for us to pay attention to and discern, is this our fear or is this our faith? Okay, is this a good time to practice discernment, whether this is a fearful thing that is a good thing or not a good thing? For example, we have the people that were out protesting. And they were protesting probably to a degree because they are fearful. They are fearful if we don't get back to normal, life will, that's it. We're doomed. And yet, is that a wise fear to have, that we got to get out there? Or knowing that we're not where we should be yet, is it a wiser thing to listen to that faith? So that's it. It's a matter of discerning. Is this a good time to listen to fear, or is this not? One of my favorite books of all time, Who Moved My Cheese? And you can get that probably on Amazon. I don't know if it's in Audible or not, but it's a great book because it's full of little questions that really make you think. Like, what would I do if I were not afraid? Boy, there's so many things. How many things in your life might have been different if you just faced up to an irrational fear? So there's rational fears and there's irrational fears. And our job is to overcome the irrational fears with faith. Faith is so amazing. Everything is about energy. Everything is energy. So we think about the energy of faith. It propels us forward, and we think about the energy of fear. It pulls us back. But if we look at the definition, like in the Bible, it says, and listen to this. I want you to listen to it and not just hear it, but feel it, okay? Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things unseen. So you see that the assurance and the conviction, that's like faith, like this is going to happen. That's something that we are given that as a faculty in order to have successful and adventuresome lives. So, and in unity, we say that faith is the perceiving power of the mind linked with the power to shape substance. So when we have something we want, when we want to create, when we want to be, let's talk about a potter. A pottery just came into my mind, which I don't think I'd ever do that. I mean, I guess I've got faith I could do it, but I don't like that clay on my hands thing, you know. Anyway, if we were potters and we listened to the instructions of the person who was teaching us how to do it, and we followed them, we would actually turn out a beautiful vessel if we listened and without fear created this vessel. Now, if we were afraid, we probably wouldn't be able to get our hand down into that clay to start shaping it into a vessel. What in your life have you not done because of fear? One of the main fears? Public speaking. A lot of people are terrified. Do you ever wonder why are people terrified of public speaking? Well, I think I have the answer. We don't want to be embarrassed. We don't want to be rejected. We want to be loved and accepted. So people are afraid that if they show they're not perfect, that they'll be rejected. And isn't that sad? Because there's all the things we don't do because we're afraid. Okay. I'm sure you're having fears as we're going through this time. It's hard not to have a fear that we might contract this, especially if we spend too much time listening to the news. We should listen to the news so we're informed, but we shouldn't become obsessed and just letting it seep all through us and take over our life. You know, kids have really powerful faith. They do. It's amazing. And I'm going to tell you something. It is an energy. Everything is an energy. We give off vibrations of energy and the universe responds. I work at my sister's campground during camping season. And one of the things we do there is on big camping weekends and stuff, we will play bingo. And whereas there will be a mixture of more adults than children, invariably children win more than adults. They do. They do. And why? I think they've got that energy, that faith, that belief that they can. How many of us have lost some of that faith and belief that they can? If you struggle with feeling you can, I'm going to tell you how important it is to really try to get past that. Get past that. Engage your faith. Faith is a powerful, powerful thing. Now, did you notice that in the first definition of faith, it says assurance of things hoped for? See, some people think hope and faith are the same thing, but they're not. Hope is like an emotion, and faith is like a principle. Faith is solid. Faith is knowing. Hoping is knowing about. Hoping is knowing about. Faith is knowing. I don't have to, I don't have to try to sell you on the fact that if I have one apple and one apple, I have two apples. Why don't I have to sell you on it? Because you know it. That's what we're talking about, is having that knowing faith. We also have to look at where we place our faith. We were just talking about having faith in ourselves, and then we think about having faith in God, faith in that which is greater. I don't know about you, but I've found that sometimes I have prayed for and worked very hard at and manifested something that God probably would not have manifested for me. But I tried to manipulate circumstances so that I could get, they say a lot of people manipulate. Sometimes being polite is trying to manipulate. You're trying to manipulate the other person into not having an argument with you or giving you your way or everything. Sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it's not just such a good thing. Sometimes we want things that are so big, they are beyond our common faith in ourselves. We have to look to something greater. And that greater thing is the principle. That's where we sometimes have challenges with our faith, especially when things don't turn out the way we want them. There's a story in the Bible about King David. And King David and Bathsheba, his wife, had a child. And the child became very ill. And it says that David prayed for day after day after day. He fasted, he didn't eat, he didn't do anything. He prayed and he prayed and he prayed that the child would be saved. And then his servants came to him and they said, I'm sorry, but your child didn't make it. Your son has died. And he got up and he went and he bathed. And he told his servants to get him some food. He ate, and he went to the temple and he prayed. And they thought, why are you getting up and dressed and eating and everything now? We just told you your son died. But the thing is, he said, when there was the possibility my child could be saved, I prayed. And when that possibility was gone, I went back. Did he lose his faith? No, but he gave it everything he had. Sometimes things don't work out the way we want them to. But in those cases, we shouldn't lose faith. We should keep our faith that something greater is waiting. I think I said it yesterday, and I'm going to repeat it today, and you probably won't want to hear this, but I don't want to see people suffer and be enclosed and being confined for too long, yet we have to ask ourselves, have we learned enough in our time here to change the things that we can change in our lives to have a better life and a better world, or have we not? It's only been like going on 4 weeks. And yeah, that's a long time. At the same time, if you think about Anne Frank's family in hiding for 3 years, it's a whole different story, isn't it? Or someone that's been in prison. We have to get ourselves together, and if we put our faith that God is going to make everything turn out the way we want it to, we may have misdirected faith, because that might not be what is best for everyone. I know it's a real challenge to have faith when things aren't turning out the way you want. My faith is that everything will work out for the best of all of us. And it's going to work out a lot better if we remind ourselves there is a greater force at work. Call it universal principle. Call it the Great Spirit. Call it God. Call it the one law, cause and effect. Everything we send forth is a cause. Everything we receive back is an effect of that cause. So if we want to have faith that things are going to turn out okay, we have to lock into the knowledge that everything is designed to turn out okay, even if that's not the way we would have written it. I'm a writer. I'm an author. I write novels. I write stories. I write nonfiction. And if I were to write my life, oh, let me tell you, this isn't the way I would have written it. But as I live, and as I learn, and as I exercise my faith in both the brightest moments and the darkest nights, I find that I am building a life I can feel good about. Have I made my mistakes? Oh, yes, I have. Have I fallen down? Oh, yes, I have. But it's not how many times we fall down that matters. It's how many times we get up. If you want to think about your faith to get through things and to accomplish things, think about a baby. I have 4, and I have umpteen grandkids and a great-grandchild now. And I watch them all learn to walk. Now you think about it. Babies are wobbly. Excuse me, their bodies are off balance. They got a big head and, little legs. And you go, well, they had to watch. They watched and they saw people walking. And they said, I can do that. How many times did they stand up? How many times did they fall down? But they had faith. They had faith that they could walk, so they watched people walk. They got themselves up on the little, holding on to the edge of the playpen. They took a step. They fell. They crawled. They got up. They took a step. They fell. But they did it until they walked. And whatever it is that we have to deal with to get back to not the life we had, but a better life, that faith is in us. Let's go back to that definition. The assurance of things hoped for. What are you hoping for? Seriously, what are you hoping for yourself? What are you hoping for your children, your grandchildren? What are you hoping for the planet? We have the assurance. Look at what happened in the month that we shut down. And the skies are clear and the earth is breathing. That didn't take that long. Imagine what we could do. Now, that ought to show you, that's spirit showing us this can be done. We have to have faith that we can do our part and that we can encourage others to do their part. So that when we get back out there, we will have learned. Big question to ask yourself. Am I teachable? Am I teachable? And do I have faith to overcome my own fear? Don't be afraid to speak out for the planet. Don't be afraid to say, no, I am staying in until we get the go-ahead. See, the people that are out protesting in the streets, contrary to common sense, they're out protesting contrary to common sense, and regardless of what happens to the greater whole. That is the prime example of lower consciousness. Lower consciousness is about me, my, mine. Higher consciousness, which we all have, we just want to learn to live in it, is about we, us, ours. I was reading in a book called The 12-Power Meditation. It said that fear is the reverse of faith. Now, I'm sure y'all have some kind of fear, right? Bring to mind one of your fears, okay? And hold that in your mind, your fear, and then you say, what is your false faith? Your false faith is fear that, what? Excuse me. Fear that you'll run out of money. Fear that this will never end. Fear that you'll lose your job. Whatever your fear is, meet it with faith. I'm greater than this. God is greater than this. Science is greater than this. This is but a small experience. And I can use this. Unity says it is the perceiving power of the mind. What the mind can perceive and the heart can believe, you can achieve. Together, what our collective mind can perceive and our collective heart, add that feeling, thought plus feeling, can conceive, we can achieve. We can achieve a better world. Let's not be griping about the time that we have and the fears that we have. Let's face our fears, listen, discern between what is a valid caution and what is just empty fear. So, overcome your fear with faith. What fear can you overcome today? Because we all can. And just try to remind yourself, whatever it is, God's got it. God's got it. We're good. God do God's part. I'll do my part. Have a great day. I'm going to go back to work helping the campground get ready because I am holding and have faith that we are going to open, that we are going to have a good season, and that we are all going to be happy and healthy. Stay happy, stay healthy, keep the faith, and wash your hands. God bless you.